Have you ever wondered what God's will for you is? Or maybe what is God's will during a difficult situation in your life? Peter speaks about this in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 13 through 17. Let me read it for you. Peter says, "Be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether it be the emperor as supreme or to governors as sent by him, to punish those who do evil and to praise those who do good. For this is the will of God, that by doing good you should put to silence the ignorance of foolish people. Live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil, but living as servants of God. Honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the emperor." Peter was writing to Christians who were dispersed throughout all of the region because of persecution from a Roman government. But Peter wrote this letter as an encouragement to those facing persecution. These verses here are to help those who are facing difficulties or who are suffering in many ways know how that they should handle these situations. So Peter speaks these words to help his readers know what God's will is for them or for us in these type of situations. Peter is speaking to those who are suffering persecution from government authorities, but the application can be for anyone who is suffering for their faith or any situation. To be honest, the words of Peter are not my first thought when it comes to sufferings. I want to react in a less than holy way when authority steps over the line. There is a side of me that wants to take control and seek revenge, but this cannot be how we react. Keep this in mind. Peter is most likely in a Roman prison when he is writing these words. Honor everyone. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the emperor. This is God's will for us. These words humble me. This helps me see from someone suffering more than I will probably ever suffer that there is something even greater to live for than revenge or control or even comfort. But this isn't what we see in the life of Jesus, a man who knew true persecution and knew what it was like for the government, for the public to be totally against him and his calling. But yet, he lived a life of kindness and love and truth. Jesus did not seek revenge for the persecution that he endured, but yet he still died for their sins. We often wonder, what should we do? What is God's will for our life in this situation? Peter said, live in a way that silences the foolish. A life lived in the freedom of Christ, no matter the suffering, can leave our adversaries speechless because of our actions. Actions that glorify God. So you may be facing a hard time in your life right now. You may truly be withstanding persecution for your faith. Or maybe just the pressure to give in to the thinking and the actions of the world. We do not live under an oppressive government like that of Peter's day, but it's growing harder for Christians in our day to live out our faith without some or even a lot of pushback. So what do? Peter says, honor everyone. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the emperor. This is the will of God for all of us. No matter the level of suffering, if we do these things, we can know we are doing what God's desires are for us. Let's just think about this for a minute this week. as we go through this, how can we obey these words? Well, first off, I think we have to pray. We got to pray that God would help us to be able to love even in those difficult times, to be able to act as Jesus did, even under a great difficulty or great suffering.